Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Perish, alongside with the biggest hunk in Alberta, the Canadian Goose, Kyle Shaw. Kyle, thanks for joining me. But before we get to Monday Night Raw, which we are doing on the React Show right now, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, RK Athletics, who, if you don't know much about them, it's owned by our good friend Rich King, who, by the way, is trying to get on Muscle and Fitness magazine. So make sure you go and follow him and vote for him to get there. But if you want to know more about RK Athletics, it is a one-on-one tutorial with Rich King himself, who I believe has one of the best physiques in all of Alberta pro wrestling. And let me tell you something. It's more than just a good physique. You know, you can help your self-esteem. You can just look shredded. You can get the attention of the ladies or the men, depending on what you do, which is completely fine, because that also brings us to that ticker down below, donate.tiltify.com/@lovewrestlingca/Trevor Project. This month, we are raising awareness and funds to reach a new goal now of $2,000 to help the Trevor Project. I also want to give a shout out to the defensive end player from the Las Vegas Raiders, Carl Nassib, who openly came out today as the first active gay player in the NFL who donated $100,000 to this same Trevor's Project. And he said flat out, I hope that these videos don't have to be necessary moving forward. And I agree. And with that being said, Kyle Shaw, Canadian Goose.
I'm sorry.
How are you?
I'm good, but I'm just baffled here. Are you telling me there's only one openly gay player in the entire NFL?
One openly active gay player in the NFL. Michael Sam, who he was the first open active gay player in the NFL, but he is no longer active right now. So that's why I said openly active player. Carl Nassib, defensive end in the Las Vegas Raiders, amazing player. But yeah, today came out and admitted that he was gay, and he donated $100,000 to the same Trevor Project, where we're doing, our goal is $2,000. So, I mean, yes, in a financial aspect, it's not as much, but with that being said, it's not always about the money, it's about the awareness. So,
well, good on him for the the bravery involved in that, because like I say, like, the NFL, like, there's got to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of players. So, like, I mean, I'm just assuming here, but I would assume there's probably a few players that are in the closet just based on the numbers alone. And, like, you know, it's 2021 now. You want to be gay, like, go for it. Like,
Ed, there's absolutely no shame in who you are, and that is the message it's sent. If you by far don't know much about the Trevor Project, and you're saying, "Hey, Chris, what is it?" It's a fundraiser about, or really a place where that helps the awareness of the LGBTQ plus society with suicide prevention, among other issues. And they're making sure that just because they're gay and they have suicide thoughts or things like that, they're taken care of. They're getting the right assuredness to make sure that those thoughts go away and they can live just a really great life, a normal life, as much as that is. Yeah, because let's face it, there is no difference. We all bleed the same color. We all poo the same color. So why treat anybody different just because of identity or sexual preference?
Yeah. It's 2021. Let's get, let's stop judging people for stupid shit that's not relevant to anyone else, but
exactly
people that they love.
Jumping in the show right now is Wrestling Plug Inc. Have a killer show, guys.
Solid, thank you.
Wrestling Plug Inc. We just thank you so much for being a part and joining us today. And yes, the exclamation point Trevor Project, for sure. Speaking of preference, I prefer this Monday Night Raw over the last few Monday Night Raw. It was an amazing show. It is amazing what, I don't know if maybe you heard it before. I don't know. Maybe you heard it on the POS show on Sunday that maybe shows with stipulations or something with fighting for make them better. But yeah, that's what we had. We had 5 Money in the Bank qualifying matches. And before we get to the first one, we started off with the VIP lounge. Bobby Lashley, who I thought had an amazing match last night at Hell in a Cell against Drew McIntyre. They kicked the living tar out of each other last night. Just 2 big heavyweights. Yeah. And I even said, I was watching the show with Spencer at his house, and I'm just saying, man, this is what I love Hell in a Cell matches for. It belongs to the heavyweights. And I don't mean that in disrespect, because I'm no heavyweight. I know you're not a heavyweight. But man, when you get 2 behemoths just beating the crap out of each other in that structure, there's almost nothing like it. But basically,
I said last night that my favorite match on the show was the women's Hell in the Cell match. But so we got a bit of a difference of opinion. But there's nice no doubt about the fact that Lashley and Drew McIntyre absolutely went to war. You could tell today by just the look of McIntyre's back, it was all shredded right up. And good on him for wrestling today, man. That and then Bobby Lashley, he did another. But I'm not trying to get ahead of ourselves, but 2 Hell in the Cell matches in 2 days.
Yeah, and if people are wondering, what do you mean, Goose? 2 in 2 nights? Yeah, because the VIP lounge happened. There's a celebration. MVP, the girls and Bobby Lashley, they're enjoying a good time. Celebrating, their win last night. All of a sudden, it's a new day. Yes, it is playing, and Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston come out. And Kofi pretty much flat out says, I'm here to challenge you at Money in the Bank because I notice you don't got no opponent. But now you do. And then as MVP is trying to say, no, you just don't do that. Bobby's like, I accept. That's what you want. I accept. But I want to make sure that this is, one-on-one. So I want to challenge your boy, Xavier Woods, that video game playing Punk, to a match tonight. Xavier Woods says, yeah, but guess what? We're going one-on-one inside that Hell in a Cell. And that is where you get the 2.
It was still hanging there, eh?
Yeah, and my initial thought was really? We're going to do another Hell in a Cell? But I was proven wrong. As we will get to the match. But your thoughts on the just announcement of another Hell in a Cell and kind of the way they opened up Raw today?
I mean, I'll be honest. Raw has not been lighting my world on fire lately.
Come on, baby.
I don't generally look forward to watching the show, but once I realized, there's a Hell in the Cell, I was like, maybe the WWE is gonna make this let's make an effort to make some must-see TV here, and I think they succeeded because this show was pretty good. As far as Monday Night Raws go, since I joined up with Love Wrestling and have reacted, this is by far the best episode I've seen. Is there room for improvement? I still think if this had gone down at the Capitol Wrestling Center in front of a bunch of fans, it probably would have been better. But as far as the Thunderdome shows go, this was some of the creme de la creme.
Well, we're just counting down the days until that Monday Night Raw, that Friday Night SmackDown roster is in front of a live crowd, because that Money in the Bank, we will see that live crowd once again. Since we're talking Money in the Bank, this rolls right into that very first Money in the Bank qualifying match. We see AJ Styles against Ricochet, and these two actually do have some history, as we saw Ricochet in the past defeating AJ Styles for his only main roster title win, which was the United States title, I believe. And then I think he won it from Joe, and then AJ won it off him. My apologies, I got a little bit of history mixed up. But man, like, these guys, I mean, what can you say when these guys get in the ring?
It's AJ Styles and Ricochet. They're not going to have a bad wrestling match together, you know? Like, I mean, they're just like two of the best high flyers in the world. AJ Styles, one of the best like mat technicians in the world. Like, yeah, I could watch this all day long. I was pleased with the match. I do think that Ricochet should go back to wearing actual wrestling gear as opposed to just like some black jeans. Like, I think that I don't understand why he's doing that.
It kind of reminds me of when Baron Corbin just went off in the like his gear and just wore a suit all the time, and it was like, why?
Yeah, I mean,
like, it kind of just makes no sense. Like, I agree. Like, I mean, he's always dubbed as a superhero, right? Like, at least wear something that resembles that. And we will get to superhero gear later in the show.
Yeah, for sure. One of my favorite parts of this whole show, to be honest with you.
We saw like kind of Omos in the presence, and almost seemed like Omos and AJ Styles are going back to that heel persona. We saw like maybe a little tease that maybe they were becoming more of a face duo. And then, you know, Omos is kind of being that presence back in, like, outside of the ring, only for the Viking Raiders to, come down to the ring and kind of take down Omos and take away Omos, because I think we are setting up for that AJ Styles Omos Viking Raiders Raw Tag Team title match. I think that's an eventual thing. But this whole distraction pretty much just allows AJ going for that phenomenal forearm, gets caught by what looked like a cutter type maneuver by a Ricochet.
I think it was a code breaker.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just didn't seem like he hit it like complete. I don't know. Like, it seemed like there was a little bit of a cutter in there, a little bit. But yeah,
I believed it would hurt enough that you could pin a guy off of it.
Which I believe he calls it the ripcoil or something like that.
Don't know. I mean, I've always thought Ricochet's finish was the 630.
And I know he's been using the code breaker, and I think it was like maybe the chat could correct me on that, but I know there's a recoil. I think it was recoil. I believe he calls it. So but he picks up what they pretty much, and when I say they, the commentary team said was that surprise
recoil
win.
Sounds like the name of a guy that would be in the Retribution group.
Yeah, well, I mean, in a way, like Ricochet, recoil, it does have fit in there. But yeah, your thoughts on Ricochet advancing into the Money in the Bank, getting the win over AJ Styles. I thought it was refreshing. And I actually really enjoyed the fact that we're going to see Ricochet and what he can do in that ladder match at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that ladder match, I mean, so far is looking pretty stacked. There's some winners later on. We'll get to it. But like, if you're going to have a ladder match, Ricochet is the perfect competitor for this type of thing. I mean, I believe like one of his first matches ever was the match at the Takeover before WrestleMania that had Ricochet, EC3, Lars Sullivan,
the inaugural North American Championship match.
Yeah, and that match got like 5 stars. Yeah, believe it or not, from like Dave Meltzer. That's probably the only Lars Sullivan 5-star match. But Ricochet stole the show on that night, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he steals the show at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those competitors that just has that moveset designed for a ladder match. We quickly go to an RK Bro promo where Riddle is, I mean, how do you not love the chemistry between Randy Orton and Matt Riddle right now? But Riddle's kind of talking about how it'd be really cool but really awkward if they. It's really cool that they both have matches and they could be in the Money in the Bank, but it's going to be very awkward that they're going to maybe have to fight each other in the match, and then but maybe they could team up, and then Orton just says no. It's like, I will go after you. It's pretty
Riddle
much just saying like
that he's deathly afraid of the Burger King.
Yeah, like just the mascot there, which
it was some good stuff. I mean, the chemistry between the two, and just like the I don't know, they're kind of like these two opposite personalities that come together in such a fantastic way that you're just like, oh, I can't not watch what's going on, because eventually something's going to happen. But I think that Ricochet will, or not Ricochet, excuse me, Matt Riddle is going to end up being like a huge babyface, and hopefully Randy Orton goes back to being like a killer heel.
Drew Dawkins getting in the comments as that match is where EC3 did the Rack Attack 2.0. A lot of exclamation points because Drew Dawkins always puts himself over.
The Rack Attack 2.0, is that his finish? Or is he just like a huge fan of Nikki Bella?
I think he's a huge fan of Nikki Bella.
Okay.
So yeah,
she is a Hall of Famer.
Let's get on to actual wrestling, shall we? Where this kind of I can't, because we're talking about Eva Marie. It's someone who I kind of put in that same thing, but we actually had Eva Marie kind of introduce us to her protege, where she gives Piper Niven a name, to where she's like, okay, and this is your name, and you can easily see Piper Niven just saying Pipe, like trying to tell her name, and then she's like, Dewdrop, and then you even see like there's like Piper Niven did not like that name. I think they're making light to the fact that the rumors that this name was coming out there, and just the fan backlash is like, really this? And I think they're making light to the fact that Eva Marie kind of represents like the creative, and then Piper Niven represents the fan base, to where you got similar reactions. And so I just thought it was really funny that they even no Nikki Bella slander company policy. Oh, our company policy sucks,
policy, I guess. I don't have a problem with Nikki Bella, man. She broke her neck.
Jeremiah Douglas, I don't hold the same policy. And Jeremiah, yeah, neither do I, buddy. Hey, but just saying, Mickey James is not in the Hall of Fame. Bella twins are. But anyway, anyway, this kind of sets up to our first female Money in the Bank qualifier, where it's Eva Marie and Dewdrop against Asuka and Naomi, and the winner actually qualify. I thought this was a very interesting match, where Eva starts off the match but quickly runs and tags in the performer usually known as Piper Niven. I'm going to say that way, to where she does a lot of the work in the match, and then later comes down to where Eva Marie, she was actually not even on the apron. She's just playing cheerleader on the, and it just made zero sense. And then they even acknowledged it, but then in a way, like, it plays to the story to where, yes, me as well. I'm glad that Ricochet won. But like, it just played very well to the story, to where Eva Marie eventually got back in. She looked to make the tag, and then the performer usually known as Piper Niven decided to like just, nope, you wanted to do this to me, I'm doing this to you. Eva Marie, stunned, gets rolled up 1, 2, 3. Naomi and Asuka advance. Your thoughts on this match? Your thoughts on the whole name, and just like how they played with it, because I felt that it's not a name that's going to stick.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I'm going to start with the promo. I think Eva Marie was a fantastic promo. It was so bad that it was good. Like she's talking about how she got a mani-pedi and then she doesn't know her homegirl's name and she just makes something up and it's the most ridiculous nonsense you could ever do. Like I'm right there for all this stuff. I think Eva Marie looks fantastic. Like even those pants she was wearing, I was like, those are some very interesting pants you got on there. The match itself was more of an angle, but you could definitely tell that Dewdrop knows what she's doing out there. Like her work with Naomi and Asuka was very solid. But I will say the right team won. I mean, I'm not so sure Eva Marie is cut out to be in like ladder matches in her like third week back. Her ring skills were never her strongest aspect of her character to begin with. Before, who knows? Maybe she's been training and getting a lot better in her time off. I have no idea, but I'm not about to hate on her for it. But I thought this was a fun little storyline match, and it was good that it wasn't just some cold match that was put out there for no reason. Like, yeah, there was qualifying, and I think that both Asuka and Naomi fit right in for that ladder match type. They're both really athletic girls, and I can't wait to see what Naomi does in this women's Money in the Bank match because I think that could be pretty incredible.
Yeah, Jeremiah in there. I have to hold back a lot of negativity where she is concerned because I feel that's what the Braun money is being spent on. To be fair, she was signed before Braun was released, so there's a lot. I mean, Eva Marie has put in a lot of time just with her ring skills. She was known to be at the PC almost like daily, just for long hours, getting a lot of help, putting in the work. So I can only imagine that she has improved, and she does look a lot more confident in the ring from the times that I've seen her actually in the ring since her last run with WWE. What I do like is this angle, because what I do like is that they're obviously getting the performer usually known as Piper Niven. Still going to be saying this because I refuse. I refuse. I refuse. Okay. But it's getting her a lot of attention just from what she can do, which is wrestle. She's really good at wrestling. So she's getting that, her reps in, and she's getting acclimated to the fan base of what she is about and what she can do, which I thought was really nice. And then kind of that, entertainment aspect is now being kind of gone to Eva Marie. And then even Steve White says, did Eva lose tonight, Goosey?
Yeah, Goosey? She did. I mean, technically, she got pinned.
A big girl that looks good in one piece. Let's face it, when it comes to pro wrestling, she is not a big girl. She might be one of the best girls. We just have to give it time. She is very good. The performer, usually known as Piper Niven. But yes, again, I'm happy.
She was doing some really good, giants, person spots, right? Like, she kind of reminds me of my tag team partner, Barricade, She's bigger, but she uses her weight in such a way that it's all makes sense. She also has you can tell she has good cardio, which is
I was just about to say the cannonball that she gave. Now that when we talk about wrestling, Goose, and more than anybody, just like I do, moves need to look believable. Everything should look believable in the ring. That cannonball looks believable and it is insane. I'm sorry, KO, but I might prefer that cannonball over yours, because
cannonball is a cool move. I should tell Dave or I should tell Barricade to start cannonballing people. Not sure, I'm his tag team partner, so I didn't have to worry about him landing on me.
I know one Ron Burgundy definitely is pro cannonballs.
Okay.
So yeah, but
are we talking like Ron Burgundy from Anchorman? Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, solid.
Yeah. So anyway, this kind of this takes us to actually one last thing. I'm actually very happy. Again, like Asuka and Naomi advanced. We've been saying like we wanted Naomi to have a little bit more, get a little bit more, and then when they released Lana, we're like, okay, what are they going to do with Naomi? And I really believe that Naomi, with her current gimmick, the Feel the Glow, you could always do something with her. So the fact that she now has an opportunity to shine in the ladder match, she's known for those crazy saves in the Rumble. So who knows what she's going to be able to do with a ladder and all that spot. So it should be very interesting. Plus, you have a veteran like Asuka in this match who can captain this match, and I like this dynamic of what they're working with. So I'm very happy that these two were the two selected to represent the women in the Money in the Bank from Raw side. The last comment before we go into the next segment, Piper should have kept winning matches and Neva should have kept announcing herself as the winner. There really isn't much heat anymore in shows on TV. Eva Marie is a huge heat seeker. I think they've already wasted the heat by having Eva pinned. To an extent, I'm interested to see what they do next in the sense of was this just a blimp on the radar, or is this something that's actually going to go a little bit further? Is the plan here to really help elevate the performer usually known as Piper Niven? Or is it really going to give them like a really good feud that they can work with? And maybe it doesn't always have to be on pay-per-views, but it's one of those TV feuds that could last a little bit. I'm very curious. I just don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea where this is going. But like, shout out to Steve White there. That's from Newfoundland. The Sheik Aziz, good dude. Or a really bad dude, depending on your thoughts on Newfoundland wrestling.
Hey, good wrestling's good wrestling. Does not matter where it is. I will just be biased and say Canadian wrestling is probably the best. But with that being said, we do get just a short little promo about, with the Hurt Business there. Nothing really of major concern or impact to the show. It's just mainland's like hyping up Bobby Lashley, hyping up that main event. I mean, we've all played the video games. If you had to set up a show and if there's pay-per-view hype or main event hype, that's pretty much what you got there. So nothing really there. But what we did get next was Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, not known as Scrap Iron, but I mean, I know Adam Pearce that way. And then well, it's also Scrap Iron at one point too.
Yeah.
But then it's Sonya Deville who addressed the controversy that happened at Hell in a Cell, but in the Raw Women's Title match between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, and they kind of brought out Rhea Ripley and just said, "Look, your actions last night were not acceptable as a champion." Rhea's like, "I didn't do anything that Charlotte hasn't been getting off the hook with." She would have done this given the scenario, but she didn't. I did. And then Pierce flat out said, he's like, that may be, but you are the current Raw Women's Champion and you should not be acting like that. All of a sudden, Charlotte Flair comes in saying that she's a little bit proud of Rhea. She's a little bit, she's more clever than she thought. And because of that, like she appreciates this. And then all of a sudden, Charlotte says this should grant me another match for the Raw Women's Championship, to where Sonya Deville said, "Look, Adam, I agree, and we're going to grant you that match at Money in the Bank." So we do have our first official championship match, because they never actually officially said that it's Kofi and Bobby. It's just confirmed, so not official yet, but confirmed.
I'd be very surprised if Kofi and Bobby aren't, if the belt's not on the line.
I mean, I think it's safe to say that's going to be the match given how Raw ended. But Ed, our good old Ed, hopping in saying, "Adam's word choice here pissed me off. Heels cheat to win for 30 years, but we don't abuse the rule. LOL." But here's my thing. Who's really the heel in this thing? Because I don't see Charlotte being the clear-cut babyface either. I think this is just two chicks just trying to outdo each other. Like, I think at any given day, like, one could be more heel than the other, but I don't think any of them's a true angel in this feud either. So
Yeah, I don't like either one of these girls right now. And I'm also curious because like the last time I heard, didn't Nikki Cross say I get the winner of the match at Hell in a Cell, and now she's just completely not involved at all.
Yeah, and I was just about to say the same thing. Why is Nikki Cross just being forgotten about here?
I mean, what they're doing with Nikki Cross, I like better, but I would have liked to have seen like a babyface involved in this match. Like I have no one to root for here. I don't care who's going to win because they're both, you know, they're both people of I don't like, and I don't care who wins. I want to see somebody I do like come after the belt. You know.
Well, and here's something I just don't get, because I thought Nikki Cross had the winner of this matchup for the next shot, and clearly that's not happening. So it's a little confusing on that end. But what I do think we might see is a potential cash in on one of these girls during their match of Money in the Bank, because I can see this kind of continuing, but it's not for the championship, because if you added something in the mix and maybe it's somebody from SmackDown coming over to Raw, who knows? I don't know. Like, who knows what the rules are? Because it seems like the cash-in rules always change, especially with the brands, like year by year. But yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating to not see the continuity with Nikki Cross in this, because I really thought, even given our show last night with the Hell in a Cell Reacts, I thought a triple threat at Money in the Bank made perfect sense. So yeah, I'm just going to also take this time to let everybody know that, yeah, if you want, you can go to ratethispodcast.com/lovewrestlingca and help us become a #1 podcast here, where, yeah, we know we can be a #1, but what we don't know is with the draft, or when this draft is, but with the draft coming up, I can see anybody winning the women's Money in the Bank. That's something I'm really interested in, and if they're actually going to do the draft after the Money in the Bank or not. Darnell saying, "Hey guys, hello, Darnell." Pardon?
Sorry, I was under the impression that the date for the draft had already been finalized. I don't know why, but I was under that impression.
Know.
So if it's not finalized, yeah, they should get on that, because it's about high time they mix things up here a little bit. In my opinion.
I agree, but Goose, you know what date has been finalized?
What's that?
June 24th. Do you know why that
I don't
know. It's because we have Quizplex, next edition of Quizplex, with special guest Nicole Matthews, Veda Scott, and Ravenous Randy Myers. And this is one of those things where we're going to see all the proceeds of this going to the Trevor Project. It is 9 p.m. Eastern time. I have to get my literal crap together and take this stuff off when I do graphics. It's my first time. But no, with that being said, make sure you check out Quizplex, June 24th, 9 p.m. Nicole Matthews, Vita Scott, Ravenous Randy Myers are the guest this time. And Goose, as a former Quizplex champion, do you have any advice
for these three contestants? These three contestants have already made it quite easy on themselves by agreeing to come on the show after I've already won the game twice and been declared the champion of champions for Quizplex. So, you know, I'm unless there happens to end up being a champion of champions, you know, they've made it easy on themselves by not having to get in there with the old Canadian Goose.
The boss coming in, I think it's August long weekend. In what date the draft is? Speaking of Spencer, Ed says Spencer's stacking the deck, so the winner will be able to take me down. And then we get to Jeremiah. What do you guys think of the idea of Cena feuding with Reigns again, and why there be rumors of turning Reigns face for a match with a heel Cena? I don't know. I don't know what to think yet. I need to see a little bit.
Is there rumors going around that that's going to happen? Because that's not what I would do.
No, I don't know. I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not part of creative, even though I think sometimes I should be. But we're here talking Monday Night Raw, so if you want to hear more about SmackDown, I say maybe check out the SmackDown reaction show. We'll probably have more there where we might actually be able to answer that question better.
Yeah.
But getting back to Raw, we did see another segment involving the Raw Tag Team Champions in Natalya and Tamina with Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. About to be interviewed, the champs are, and then they kind of hear some commotion in the back. It is Mandy and Dana working out, and then this kind of gets back into the ring to where Mandy and Dana get the upper hand this time. I think eventually a Raw, or not a Raw, but just a women's tag team title match is to happen at some point. I think that's just the whole thing. I personally would have just had Mandy beat Natalie on the pre-show, come back with maybe Dana and Tamina, and then you're off and running. But I know that's just me.
I just think it's wonderful how the WWE has got like so many rings that they just have rings sitting around backstage. Like there's a full ring there set up for them to train. I don't know why their promo area is like 5 feet away from the practice ring, but I mean, you know, is what it is. I mean, I'm sure that the person like directing these promos would normally be like, hey, you want to keep it down in the ring and not leave it for the actual wrestlers, you know, to go over there and stuff. But like, I thought this was good, and I would like to see. I love to watch Natalya wrestle for sure. She's like one of my favorite lady wrestlers, and I think that Dana Brooke is pretty underrated. So hopefully there's going to be some really good stuff coming up in this tag team match.
Yeah, and I think this isn't a tag team match to sleep on. I think this is a very interesting match where you do have two performers in Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke who might not be as experienced as the champions, but what they do have is something very unique. It's a similar style. It's a similar look. I mean, they look like a tag team. They feel like a tag team, and it's just refreshing to see under the WWE banner that this is still a thing. So it's very interesting that we're going to see this match. I think if you're going to pair two people with the experience of Mandy and Dana, Natty and Tamina are the best two you can, and they're killing it on all cylinders right now as the champs. So I'm actually very intrigued in this match. But a match that I'm more intrigued is our next Money in the Bank qualifying match here. We saw Randy Orton against Johnny Drip Drip, John Morrison. We saw The Miz on commentary, and my God, this match made John Morrison look like $1 million. Randy Orton this guy's a stud. He is by far the definition of a pro wrestler in today's game. What did you think about this match, and what did you think about John Morrison scoring the upset win over Randy Orton thanks to a distraction by Randy Orton's own tag team partner, Riddle?
I liked it. I mean, I love everything about like comedy goofiness, especially. And so when the part where Riddle comes riding down on his scooter and is chasing the Miz around the ring, Miz is in a wheelchair and Riddle's on his scooter. I was popping for that for sure. But the action in the ring was like second to none as well. Like, Orton was hitting all his greatest hits for sure. And then that Starship Pain maneuver that Johnny Nitro, John Morrison does is incredible, and I can't believe he doesn't break his neck every time he tries to do it. Like it's got to take so much body control. So I have a lot of admiration for John Morrison well as Randy Orton. Like Randy Orton, of course, he's been like one of the best wrestlers in the world for like a good 10 years now at least. So. Like I'm gonna know what you're getting when you see him, but like the fact that John Morrison is back in the WWE and has not missed a step is also yes, please more of this.
I'm gonna pose a question: who's gonna do the biggest high spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match, Ricochet or John Morrison?
Whew. I don't know, man. I mean, there's still other guys to be added in there too. So I mean, there's definitely a good possibility that it could be one of those two guys, but you never know, right? Like I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, Jeremiah is a phenomenal talent. If he won Money in the Bank, I'd be okay with that. If not Ricochet, yeah, it definitely looks like just with the theme of tonight's show, it looks like like new blood could be rising in this Money in the Bank. And let me tell you, it's refreshing and it's getting my interest just right up there. So I'm very curious on who's going to win this. It makes me more acceptable that I'm going to win back that Love Wrestling Elite Championship that Spencer Love did run the table last night on Hell in a Cell, defeated me and became the new champion. Man enough to admit that. He beat me fair and square. He kicked the living tar out of me, actually.
I 100% believe like if you're gonna put somebody with the briefcase, it's usually best for it to be a heel guy. So like John Morrison is a prime candidate, and I think could do some awesome stuff with the briefcase for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, heels are better with it, but there are that rare exceptions of baby faces holding it very well. So I mean, who knows? Like, it's a good pop. Like Dean Ambrose still got a great pop when he cashed it in almost instantly. Bailey had a great pop when she cashed it in. So it could be very, like interesting. I know John Cena had it, Rob Van Dam had it, and really had an aura with that one night stand pay-per-view when he cashed it in. So it was just a very, it's all about delivery and execution at that point. And I know you agree. Speaking of delivery and execution, nothing was more, I don't want to say maybe it was under-delivered, less executed. But it was one of those matches that I thought was better than what I expected last night at Hell in a Cell, and that was Shayna Baszler, Alexa Bliss. This is kind of going into that because we do see Nia, Shayna, Reginald in a backstage promo to where they're brought up about, was last night something that you just didn't expect? And now with your tag match tonight, what are your guys' thoughts? And then Nia just really reaffirmed to Reginald that what happened last night when she slapped Reginald in the face, that this was not going to happen again tonight. And Reginald just kind of looking like that sweet little baby in the back was like, okay. And then Shayna was like, what's the matter? Are you scared? And I really like the fact that Shayna's kind of being in this role here. But then Nia just flat out said, look, there's something different about Alexa, and we really got to take note. And I just thought that's very true, because she has been very interesting, to say the least, since breaking away from Bray and The Fiend at WrestleMania. Some good, some bad, but very interesting nonetheless. We get in the tag match where sorry, go ahead, Goose.
Oh, I was just going to say, is there any word on what's going on with Bray Wyatt? Like, why hasn't he been on the show since WrestleMania?
I think it's just to create a little bit of separation between his character and the Fiend character with Alexa and her character. And I think that's, that's not a bad thing. I think, too, if they're both on the same show, you instantly want that answer. And at least this is keeping you wanting that answer as time goes in, because who knows, right? Like, it was the first time we really saw Bray Wyatt and the Fiend become like humanized in a little bit of in an emotional way, with Alexa kind of doing what she did there. So it's very captivating in the sense. I'm going to use a different word. But yeah, Jeremiah saying Shayna's a great instigator. I 100% agree. And then coming back, he is suffering from depression due to John Huber passing. That's also another one as well. A lot of people are affected with John Huber, Brody Lee, Luke Harper, whatever you want to call him, with his passing.
Is that like is he joking, or is that legitimately why they're giving him time off?
No, I mean, it was Bray Wyatt. Like, I think Bray Wyatt did request the time off, so it's a little bit of everything. But I mean, too,
I was wondering because it like if he was injured or something, because he showed up for WrestleMania, he did the one match, and then I haven't seen him since.
Yeah, no, I mean, we always sometimes forget about the human relationships that these performers have outside of the ring. And this was a big one, but at the same time, like, just from a storyline angle and point, like, they are creating that separation between the two characters right now. and therefore over time they're keeping it fresh and not running it out. Speaking of it, what I thought was refreshing was what they're doing with Nikki Cross now, because
Yes,
Nikki
I
Cross
love
and
this.
Alexa Bliss took on the team of Shayna and Nia in another Money in the Bank qualifying match, but Nikki Cross is now dressed up as a superhero. She is kind of like the Wonder Woman of WWE, and that's kind of how I'm going to put it out, because, but in a way, she's not as serious as Wonder Woman. It's almost like a modern day Mighty Molly, I'll say. But with that being said, I thought it was very interesting to see Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross be a tag team, given their history, but now given their current directions. I thought that was really fun to watch. What were your thoughts on this? What were your thoughts on the match? Because I thought it was played out very well, where we saw Alexa and Nikki. Nikki did score the surprise upset win over Shayna Baszler to qualify the two in this Money in the Bank females match. But before you go, that Ed saying heading to bed, have a great night and show, guys. Thank you, Ed. Have a great night and sleep. Yeah, and they are made of these. Yes, I quoted a song. But yeah, what were your thoughts on this match? What are your takeaways, and what were your impressions of Nikki Cross's new character?
I loved it. Of course, you know, like I do sort of goofy similar stuff to this. Like I'm the Canadian Goose. This Saturday I formed a stable with a guy who dresses up as Deadpool and with Barricade, and we're calling ourselves the Super Friends. I was like, oh, I wish we could get Nikki Cross to come and join our group, because it'd be awesome. But yeah, no, I was right in for all of this. I was watching this probably the most intently, because I was like, I'm gonna steal her shit. But other than that, like
the budget goose. Remember the budget.
I really I was a huge fan of this. I was like, okay, if you're not going to put her in there with Rhea and Charlotte, I'm all for this. Yes, please give me wacky, fun characters to root for. She was a great in this matchup. I mean, I don't know if her being a superhero teaming up with the obviously evil Alexa Bliss is the way to go. Like, I think I'd rather see her wrestle against Alexa Bliss than team up with her, but that is what it is. It's a bit confusing, because like Alexa Bliss is kind of riding this line where like I like cheering for her because everything she's doing really well, but it's also like I know it's supposed to be creepy and like I'm not supposed to be cheering for her, but like, yeah, it was weird because like I like Alexa Bliss better than I like Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, and I don't know. I'm kind of not high on Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax as a group. I'd really rather just see Shayna Baszler as, you know, on her own, and maybe put Nia Jax with someone else that could use the rub from Nia Jax to look like a killer. Because I already believe Shayna Baszler is a killer. You know, she doesn't need Nia Jax. Nia Jax holds her back, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I believe this is a tag team, or at least a duo, that will get split up in the draft. But Darnell comes in with the big question: who do you have, Nikki? Or Mighty Molly?
I'm going to go with Nikki Cross just because I like her personality more. I think she has way more personality than
I think he's getting towards the new superhero character Nikki and Mighty Molly, as they do have the kind of similar direction there. I want to see more about where this character is going for Nikki before I answer that question, because Mighty Molly is just, you know, how do you not enjoy Mighty Molly? Mighty Molly, I'm not
back in the day. On Mighty Molly, I just think that Nikki Cross is like, anytime she talks, I'm like, oh, she's so cute.
It's like the first night you saw the Fiend. It's like, oh, who do you have? Undertaker or the Fiend? It's like, oh, let the Fiend breathe a little bit, and that's kind of being my stand. I'm going to give you a very diplomatic answer there. Jeremiah says the match with Bliss and Shayna was weird. Yeah, and I think that's what it's supposed to be. Weird. But with that being said, what's not weird was the care that Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce had for Drew McIntyre, saying you don't have to wrestle tonight against Riddle in a qualifying match. And Drew says, yes, I do. I go by the words, never surrender, and I will not surrender. And I thought that, really made Drew kind of look really strong too in this. I like the fact that it doesn't matter if he's down. He's always willing to fight his way back up. Very commendable of a trait for, a babyface who is this size. As well as we also saw a promo. I don't know if it was, I forget where it was, but it was a little bit before this, I believe, kind of the match with Riddle and Drew. But we saw one with Adam Pearce and Deville with, superstars of the likes of the modern day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal. We saw Sheamus in there, who was still wearing his, his nose protector. And I believe Drew Gulak was there. Cedric Alexander was there. Maybe Drew Gulak was not there, but I know Cedric was there. Jeff Hardy was there. Yeah, Jeff Hardy. Sorry, that was the white guy in there.
Well, what happened? Because I missed this part.
Well, they were kind of just saying, like, why are you giving Money in the Bank qualifiers to, the Drew McIntyres who might just squander it? This is Ginger's words, by the way. Or, like, why Cedric is like, why are you giving it to all these, like, why are you thinking about giving it to all these antiques, like the older guys like Jeff Hardy? Why not give it to somebody when we're going back on the road? Give it to somebody like me, like the future. And then Jeff Hardy is like, well, I mean, do not forget about when this antique beat you the last couple of weeks and stuff like that. And Sheamus is getting in there and they're like, oh, is your nose okay? You must be if you're, kind of saying that. And he's like, oh, no, my nose still hurts. What are you talking about? And then he leaves. Because he thought as a champion, he just should have been automatically put in the match. So assuming they thought he was good to compete, they're like, oh, maybe you can defend the title. And he's like, nope, my nose hurts. And then just bails, which I thought was pretty entertaining of Sheamus. He didn't really go anywhere, but Shinder did have this saying, well, if anyone that you have, if anything happens to these participants, just remember me as an alternate, which I thought was a really interesting thing because it kind of kept me on my heels of saying, oh, maybe they're going to attack one of these qualified competitors. We didn't see that tonight because we quickly went into the match of McIntyre and Riddle. But before we do, you did say you missed this one. What are your thoughts and perceptions?
I just missed
no.
promo. Yeah.
But you missed that one promo. But I'm just going to ask you a question of what are your thoughts about Drew McIntyre now, knowing that he cannot compete for the WWE title as long as Bobby Lashley's champion? Kind of his. What's your perception of Drew McIntyre given his current state right now?
I like Drew McIntyre. I think he's a fantastic guy, a great champion when he is champion. But like, I would like to see something new. So maybe when that draft occurs, maybe a change of scenery for Drew McIntyre might be in order, or possibly a change of scenery for Lashley. But I'm thinking more so, I think McIntyre going after Roman Reigns would be pretty fantastic. But also, like, if we're hearing about heel Cena, like I'm down with heel Cena too against babyface McIntyre. So you can't hate on Drew McIntyre, but I have seen a whole lot of them lately.
Yeah, we Darnell coming in. We're so close to hearing no more words again. Yes, Jeff Hardy did say in front of people that's where he would like to bring back his old theme song. But let's get to Riddle and Drew McIntyre because I thought this match was phenomenal.
Had new music tonight.
She did, and it was kind of weird. I don't know what I think of it. I don't know what I think. I'm gonna have to let that kind of. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let that one kind of sit me for a bit. Jeremiah, before we get to the match, I've been comparing Drew's resilience to Shawn Michaels' resilience. It's amazing he can keep pushing himself the way he does with his frame of body. Yeah, Drew McIntyre is a stud. Like, he is one of those heavyweight studs that just come around once in a while. Like, he is the epitome of what a real heavyweight is. Him and Bobby Lashley. But let's get to this match because this match to me was the match of the night. Riddle versus Drew McIntyre. Randy Orton did come and watch it on the stage, but when you talk about the guy, like two guys just taking it to each other, and this is the match that, that one comment about his resiliency. Man, Drew McIntyre is just, again, that word stud. The performance he gave, the performance Riddle gave, my lord, and just some of the moves. These guys, instant chemistry. Very impressed with this match. Very happy Riddle picked up the win and qualified in Money in the Bank. Like the direction that they're going with this Money in the Bank. But my God, this match, what a match. Please check it out if you missed it.
Yeah, this was great. I think I even like this better than Drew's match last night. It really harkened back to WrestleMania when Matt Riddle wrestled against Sheamus. I thought they had a fantastic match. So then this too was just like, it was kind of like, because Sheamus and Drew McIntyre sort of have a similar style to one another, and the chemistry was unreal. There was some crazy stuff going on in here. At one point, Riddle overhead suplexed McIntyre out on the floor, and like you could already see like McIntyre's back is all mangled from getting thrown into the cage a bunch of times last night. There was a German suplex off the top rope. Like, these guys were not holding back. This was nuts, and it went like 3 segments. Like, yeah, this was a banger. It was the best match I've seen on Raw in a very long time.
Yeah, and the fact that Riddle won this match is, like kind of an out of nowhere kind of, and it was just such a surprise to me, because even though I didn't expect Drew to win, I just couldn't fathom him losing back-to-back nights, but he did, and he made Riddle look like $1 million. After the match, Riddle is going on his scooter back upstage to Randy, who doesn't seem impressed. He seems more upset that Riddle, who cost him his match, has advanced. And Riddle's just like, man,
we could talk about this, Randy.
Yeah, what's wrong? And like, just like he doesn't see the obvious, but like, I'm here for you. And just absolutely amazing chemistry and storytelling without Randy Orton actually having to say a word. This is where storytelling at its finest is Randy Orton's expression and just body language. And it's just and Jeremiah, you absolutely smoked this one. Makes me think of old school billing, 100%. And because of that, this match, when it's in front of a crowd, it's going to be, like you said, Goose, a banger, because these guys are going to just give it everything they had. But I will say, if they one day actually keep with this tag team, become tag team champions, watch out for that pop.
You know what the chemistry reminds me of between these two? And maybe it's just because Randy Orton's name is Randy. I hearken these two to Randy Orton is Randy, and Matt Riddle is drunk Mr. Leahy from the Trailer Park Boys. Come on, Randy, we can talk about this. Like, he's trying to convince them that they should get back together, like, all the time. And I think Matt Riddle's character is growing on me a lot. Like, his ring work is so phenomenal that his goofiness for a while was kind of off-putting to me, because I was like, he's really, really goofy. So, like, pick one. He's either a goofball or a badass. But no, he's both, and it works.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting. Definitely questions about what's next for Drew McIntyre. I think that's the big one. But man, this Money in the Bank pay-per-view and these ladder matches are just already shaping up to look amazing.
Yeah, this pay-per-view is going to be good.
We actually got in this next segment a match scheduled for next week where we saw Jackson Riker. I know this is Spencer's favorite pro wrestler.
I don't like Jackson Riker. I think he sucks.
See, I
hate to say that about any wrestler because, like, I don't want to say anyone sucks, but this guy's he just strikes me as a huge douche canoe.
See, like, I actually don't. I have some time for Jackson Riker. I don't know if he's like babyface material, but I do think as a performer he is quite solid. I did like his promo because we actually had Mansoor kind of come up to him asking for advice. And he's like, keep your enemies close. And he's like, and it was just, I don't know. I thought like this segment worked really well for everyone involved because he even says it's like talking about next week how he's going to have this match with Elias and it's going to be a strap match. That's why he has the strap in his hand that Mansoor was very confused with. But then he just flat out said he's like the tune that Elias is going to be hearing next week is the tune of this strap on his flesh. And I just like the fact that it's to the point. I didn't think he needed more, more than what he gave us. I thought this was proper amount of filler for here. It really made Mansoor kind of that guy that you kind of want to see what he does next by always going up to guys asking for advice. Clearly, he's going to back away from the Riker because it's a little bit odd and different. But then as he's doing that, Ali is right there. And then it's just, if they're not pairing these two up, I think it's a missed opportunity. These guys, I think, are going to be magic together. What did you think about this segment, and what are your thoughts moving forward about not only Riker versus Elias in a strap match next week, but the potential pairing or even matchup of Mansoor and Mustafa Ali?
Yeah, I've already said, Riker does not light my world on fire. He is like the typical just bad guy wrestler, and he strikes me as somebody I would like to see beat up just because he's a douche. He's Elias is not my favorite wrestler either, so getting stoked for an Elias versus Jackson Riker match is not really doing much for me. I do like Ali for sure, but I'm not super familiar with Mansoor. I've only seen him wrestle a few times, so
yeah, he is still relatively fresh to the Raw scene. We did know him from the Saudi shows. I believe he had
that's where I saw
match
him
with Cesaro. But I mean, how could you not have a fantastic match with Cesaro? But I mean, Jeremiah said he reminds you of Steve Blackman. I'm like, you know what? Give me a little bit of Steve Blackman.
Oh, I'd love to see Steve Blackman show up and just beat the trash out of Jackson Riker, because Jackson Riker.
I kind of want to see that as a tag team. To be honest, that'd be a very interesting.
Jackson Riker does have Steve Blackman vibes. That's true. I would compare Jackson Riker more to Steve Blackman than I would Mansoor for sure.
Jackson Riker does not have the personality, and I will 100% agree there. He just does not have that personality that makes me want to get emotionally invested in his character. But what he does have is that reality believability. So when he says that intensity that he has, that's his quality that he does have, because the guy is ripped. The guy is shredded from just a look. The guy can work
for sure.
If you've ever seen his stuff in Impact, he actually can work. But he just hasn't been able to put it together yet.
Yeah, there's something missing, I think. Just from my perspective. And like I say, I'm not trying to I know it sounds like I'm trashing on the guy, and I feel bad for that, because that's never my I want everyone to be successsual, but I don't know. I feel like the other two guys he was with kind of got the shaft, for
Steve
sure. Cutler and Wesley Blake. They got shaft. Of the three of them, I'd have let Jackson Riker go back to the Indies and kept the other two guys. But
a situation though we don't really know much about. So it is what it is. We can just comment of what we know and explore our displeasures, if you will. But I have a lot of time with Elias. I do like to see him get a little bit of that guy gets a lot of push and pull in terms of what they do with him. He doesn't actually get the rock and just go straight, right? He's always, oh yeah, here you go. Oh no, you ran back. Okay, go. No, we're bringing you back. And I wish they kind of just let him go a little bit. The guy does show that he is very charismatic. I want to see Elias and Boogs, by the way. I just think that's funny. That's entertaining. But with that being said, this brings us to our main event of the night, our last segment, the Hell in a Cell match between Xavier Woods and Bobby Lashley. And this match really began with, I thought it was just Bobby Lashley going to just beat the living tar out of Xavier Woods the whole time. But then Xavier Woods brought it back around. They had a really fantastic back and forth at points. Yes, Bobby Lashley's the bigger man. He's the stronger man. He's the WWE champion. But Xavier Woods, I thought, really shined in this match. And I really thought he kind of had that breaking out performance on his own that he always deserves to have. And just that elbow drop through the table, I mean, if you're not amazed by that athleticism, and he did overshoot it a little bit, which is funny because it basically was the entire ring that shot over. But I mean, Xavier Woods brought it tonight, and I was very, very proud to see that because Xavier Woods is that one guy in the New Day that just never got his own, and I can't wait until the day comes where he does.
There are guys like that like, you know, maybe this guy is not like the world champion, but I can get behind him because, like, I don't know, I find him a little bit more relatable. He seems like, you know, if you met him, he'd be super cool. You know, he doesn't strike me as one of those guys that would big league people or anything. Like, you know, like, it's just something about Xavier Woods where I want to see that guy succeed. You know,
he has Daniel Bryan vibes in the sense of just how much you want to root for him. You want to see good things happen. You actually just want to see him get there. He is that underdog, and I do think he could be your new ultimate underdog if you go about it the right way. It's very interesting there. I mean, we had Rey Mysterio, then we went to Daniel Bryan. We need that one in this generation, and I think Xavier Woods very much can be that guy. But with that being said, like, Hurt Lock for the submission win for Bobby Lashley. Can't really say that I'm surprised by the finish, but what I did like was the fact that MVP got him in the cell, locked it before Kofi can get in, and they put the Hurt Lock back on Xavier as Kofi is watching, just asking, just begging for him to stop. They're not. And it was just a statement. Be like, yeah, like this is what's going to happen to you at Money in the Bank. And just it was such a good ending. And I really love the fact that it was that statement because Bobby Lashley, and I said this to Spencer, should be put in the same light on Raw that Roman Reigns is on SmackDown. And I think they're starting to do that. And Bobby Lashley is killing it right now.
Yeah, 100%. And the way the show went off the air, like you're saying, like they're just, you know, desperately Kofi's trying to save his friend and whatnot. Like, I mean, I'll be surprised if next week doesn't kick off with like them showing the fallout from this. Like, you know, Bobby and MVP, they leave, and then Kofi has to attend to his fallen friend. And you know, I actually what I would expect is that Xavier is probably going to be missing in action for a little while because they mentioned, that Kofi would be going one-on-one with Lashley because, you know, like Kofi said during his promo, he relies upon his friends and surrounding himself by people he loves, and now he's got no people. He's got to do it on his own against both Lashley and MVP, and I guess against their Ho Train as well. But
I mean, the one thing we do have to take into account that at Money in the Bank, it is a pay-per-view where both brands are there. Big E will be at Money in the Bank as well, so we might be able to see that come into a play. I hope not. I do hope they keep it one-on-one. They kind of take that match as an opportunity to really kind of make Kofi look good in a hopeful defeat, because I don't think this is the guy that should take the title off Bobby. But with that being said,
if they're gonna do a draft, like I think a cool surprise would be like, you know, Big E runs in and like turns on Kofi, you know.
So I had a thought during this match, and I know like there's been teasers of MVP trying to bring Kofi into the Hurt business.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if it's really a ruse just to get Xavier Woods in the Hurt business? And Xavier Woods is the one that ends up being that person.
I mean, that would be good, but I think Big E would be better because, like, just the visual of Big E and Lashley as like a tag team, like, whoa, I don't want to mess with those guys, you know, like,
yeah, but like I don't know, like I just like I know WWE has a tendency of almost picking the guy we didn't think as that guy, so it to me that could be Xavier Woods if they were to go there. We'll just get to next to the comments. We're getting a no, but at the same time, that's exactly the reaction you would have and want if that was to happen. And I think that's like, I had the same reaction with Seth Rollins did it on the Shield. I really did. And I just think that's storytelling at its finest when you can get that reaction, instant reaction about it. So, and yeah, love wrestling. Thanks for the follow at XDP5890000.
That's a very creative screen name.
They followed us on Twitch, so we appreciate it.
Thank you for following us. Please tell your other robot minions.
Jeremiah Biggie turns heel. Yeah, gimme. But
yeah,
that does it for our episode of Monday Night Raw. Overall, one of the better episodes, and I think we have definitely can agree on that one. I'm just going to run down our socials right now real quick. It is, if you aren't following us on Twitch, like, we just had a buddy following us Twitch. That is twitch.tv/lovewrestlingca. If you're like, you know what, I'm not following you on Twitch. I'm following you on Facebook, but do you have anything else? Yeah, youtube.com/lovewrestlingca. And if you're like, I follow you and I see, hey, Perish, I know behind you, I mean, you have a Love Wrestling set of gear. I know you've been wearing that Love Wrestling shirt. I do believe it is a little bit somewhere in here. Oh, yeah. It's just right here. I was sitting on it. That's why it's so warm. But this Love Wrestling shirt really is warm. I was sitting on it the entire time. We also have mugs. We also have Sunday Brunch stickers. So, yeah, come check us out. But that link is lovewrestling.ca/shop. If you see a screen there right below me, CRK Athletics, that is our sponsor. We just want to say make sure you give them a follow, a like. You show them the love that we know that you can because you show us a lot of love. Show RK Athletics a lot of love. Remember, help Rich King get on that cover of Muscle and Fitness because let me tell you something. He does it justice. And then Love Wrestling saying we're going to be rating Brand Cutler following today's stream. And that is terrific news. But I also want to make sure
that guy's in AEW, right?
I couldn't tell you. I don't really watch AEW.
I might be thinking of somebody else.
Maybe we will be told in the comments. But make sure on this ticker below where you've seen that, and I'm going to pull up the link one more time. We are, where is this link here? But we are raising awareness. We are trying to get some people to donate if you can to donate.tiltify.com/@lovewrestlingca/Trevor Project. It is a great cause. Like I said, today we saw some history made with the defensive end of the Las Vegas Raiders, Carl Nassib, donating not only $100,000 American, which is like $1 billion Canadian, to the Trevor Project, but also coming out and announcing that he himself is gay. I never said I was anti. I just said I don't watch it. I don't have the time. I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm sorry.
I watch AEW once in a while. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not anti-AEW. I have a lot of I like a lot of guys in AEW, actually. Remember, I saw a lot of moves off Sting, so I can't say I hate AEW. I'm a big Sting fan from back in my day. I'm a big FTR fan. I'm a big Jericho fan. I'm a big MJF fan. Always have time for Sean Spears and Miro. So, yeah. Can't say much about that. Hangman Page, that guy's beautiful. Come on. Not anti. Nobody's anti anything here. We are.
No, they got some great stuff going on.
Yeah. You know what I'm also not anti of, Goose?
What's that?
Not anti pro wrestling tees, where I know you have a shop there for.
Oh yeah, I
Plug
sure
away,
do.
my friend. Where can we find you on the social media? And let everybody know where they can buy some t-shirts that are just really honking.
It's at the link here displayed at the bottom of the screen. You can also just go to Pro Wrestling Tees, search for Goose. My store is the only one that will come up because I'm the only wrestler with the balls to name himself Canadian Goose. I got 2 designs up there. One was designed by Cameron Stevens. One was designed by a professional comic book artist. They're both fantastic. Please buy a shirt. It does help me out. I do want to throw out a special thank you to Vicky and Denise, who both gave me posters at the show on Saturday to hang up. I will be hanging up the one that Vicky gave me right over here. And then I got a big Mick Foley one that Denise gave me. I'm going to put right here on the wall. So look forward to those. I just have to acquire some thumbtacks. I also, you can find me wrestling or at least being on shows while I'm unfortunately injured right now. But I will be at the Legion Post in Calgary, Alberta, downtown, number 1 Friday night. And I will be here in Edmonton at the Norwood Legion on Saturday night. Just formulated the Super Friends stable out in RCW, so that should be a good time. I say it all the time. I'm just in wrestling to entertain people with my friends, but don't make any mistake about that. I'm not friends with everyone in RCW. Chris Perish can speak to it. There's some major dickheads over there, but. If I get in the ring with those guys, like I'm all about spreading the love and they'll feel the love, but sometimes, love hurts.
But then again, love is a great thing. And again, you can follow me on the social media, Chris Perish on the Twitter, Chris.Perish on the Instagram, the Chris Perish on Twitch, but also make sure that you're checking out Quizplex, June 24th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time with Nicole Matthews. We just got Randy Myers. Remember, all proceeds going to the Trevor Project. That will be it for us. I am Chris Perish. This is Canadian Goose. Honk, honk. Thank you so much for enjoying us with another edition of Love Wrestling Reacts. God, that's why I got to leave. I'm screwing things up. Love Wrestling Reacts. Monday Night Raw.
Raw was good
tonight, everyone.
So
that was really good.
Like.